It's a management challenge after all, not just a matter of tooling.
Why are large engineering orgs hitting the ROI cap?
Because they treat AI as a glorified autocomplete. Proving the ROI on AI to the board is essential. Around 1.5 to 2 million of savings, your AI champions will do everything for you.
Here's the paradox. In just a year or two, the industry has made what feels like a decade-long leap. We already have entire systems running in AI-generated code. There's a ton of investment, good adoption statistics, and positive response from developers. And yet, at the macro level, delivery speed, predictability, overall engineering outcomes, the shift is far less visible, let alone the ROI. My name is Anastasia, and I'm a Partner Solutions Lead at NAX, and today we are unpacking just that: the gap between individual productivity in AI initiatives and system-level performance. With me is Yaroslav Kiselichka, who heads up our NX Gen AI Value Lab and is basically doing the magic for our customers to make sure their AI SDLC runs smoothly. So with that, you've had a lot of projects in the past year and this year already in our portfolio where you were trying to help our customers across different points of their SDLC. So why are large engineering orgs hitting the ROI cap?
Because they treat AI as a glorified autocomplete. You give a tool to 300 engineers and you hope that they will figure it out. A few high performance reach like around 30% boost, but the rest of the team stagnates. Just marginal gains for them. Because you don't scale performance by handing out licenses to the developers. You need to rethink how the entire team works.
What are those guys who have seen 30-40% velocity increase? What are they doing differently?
Yeah, I would reframe the 30-40% slightly. On specific workflows, you can expect, let's say, let's take an example of legacy code refactoring or unit test generation, or even the code to documentation, vice versa. So you can get 30 to 50% of boost for individuals. But when you factor in the entire SDLC, and the team performance, the code reviews, the rework, and the learning curve, you get a sustained around 10 to 20% of the performance boost. Still, for 300 engineers, it's a massive boost of performance. If you will quantify it per quarter, you gain the weeks of regained capacity for the entire team.
What's the differentiator between, I would say, success of the teams you've seen and the, well, we kind of gave it a try, but it didn't quite work?
Yeah, they shift from just AI assisted to AI native workflows. The main difference is that in AI assisted workflows, you have an engineer, he starts coding, he reaches the bottleneck, he then prompts the LLM for help, and then he is the driver of the entire coding practice. AI is a passenger. The AI native workflow flips that picture. So AI connects to your Jira, gets your Jira ticket, starts to code the boilerplate, and then creates your unit test, and you just verifying now whatever it is created. So you become more like a reviewer and an editor. And then when you systematize that for the entire SDLC, you get that boost, and this gain becomes sustainable. You can prove that, systematize it, share it, and just from the backlog, general tickets creation to the post incidents in the production environment. So the whole pipeline is covered now.
If I'm a VP of engineering, how do I actually set up a high performance team that would be able to work this way and sort of put my trust in their expertise and ability to manage this day to day?
Well, you have to break the silo, right? On the one side, you have a team of engineers, let's say, sitting somewhere in London, creating a high-performing prompts for spec-driven development. On the other side, you have a front-end team sitting in LA and using pretty much same tooling, but they are figuring out every time everything from scratch. So the perception here is that you need to create a systematized knowledge base, which we call in AI native workflows. And by integrating there the knowledge base for entire team, it's easy to centralize the knowledge and share it across the board, which means that you don't ask everybody like to become a prompt engineers. You just give them the tested, proven tools that are efficient to the specific use case, and it's just a knowledge base that grows and is quite reusable for daily routines for a standard engineer.
But you are talking about what sounds like hundreds of people that need to change their daily habits. So, how do you see that actually happening if you're a leader trying to implement change in your company?
You don't actually rely on them. So your AI champions will do everything for you. The fact that's what most organizations miss. You need to identify the most enthusiastic, high performing people and designate them as AI champions. Then from there, when you have like 3 to 5 people, that's a good starting point. You empower them to become your internal, uh, let's say, change agents. They are ones who test new tools, they refine the prompts, and they demonstrate how it actually works. So they encode the tribal knowledge, specific architecture of the company into those workflows.
But if we look at an alternate universe, and we talk about scaling without these champions, would you say it's possible?
It doesn't work. I saw a large organization mandating the change top down, and we all know engineers trust engineers. So the most influence you get in your work is by your teammate that sits next to you, um, especially when he or she brings the evidence of AI changing his routine. Um, Otherwise, we just see the spikes of productivity for a few weeks, and then it just plateau of just a stable lines, and experimentation is not part of the culture anymore. So you trust your engineers, you pair them in the peer-to-peer code review sessions, and they help each other to go through the hallucination cycles. So that's a certain trade-off of using AI. So you don't normally verify the quality of the output. With your colleague, you can, right? So this is the mandate for scaling. This is the pure mechanic that works inside of the teams.
Can you give me like a use case from your recent projects where you've seen just that?
So picture this: a US-based SaaS company with Java and React stack, around 300 engineers. They had GitHub Copilot, but couldn't prove the ROI to the board. Together with our stakeholders, we identified 5 AI champions. We focused on exploring 3 AI native workflows, such as legacy code refactoring, unit test generation, and automated PR summaries. Within 3 months, test coverage on legacy modules jumped from 40% to 75% without even impacting feature delivery. Overall lead time dropped by 25%, and most importantly, because the champions were driving it, weekly active usage of AI tools went from 35% to 85% across the entire organization.
So I think from the metrics perspective, in terms of operations and lead time, I think that's already beyond impressive. But I think a lot of the decision makers are currently looking at all the investment they made into AI, and they're expecting some financial returns. Are there any gains you have seen in this specific use case, or maybe across other projects that you could share?
Absolutely. Proving the ROI on AI to the board is essential. So, in fact, nobody just wants a simple, tool that improves you like 20%, and this like individual improvement that saves you, 1 or 5 hours a week. We need to understand how it translates to the entire company savings and the business impact. So we do this experience in a measured way. We tracked at least 4 key metrics on every single account, and we basically quantify the results for the business people, even the money. So The biggest impact is, first of all, in the change management perspective. So with our structured approach, for instance, on the last project that we did for around 400 engineers, we gained for the management around 1.5 to 2 million of savings for the change management, because we gradually, step by step, started with like 5 champions, then scaled to 30 people, then 100, and then 250 and more. So it gave us the structured path that we started from small, created the evidence, and if the company did it all on their own, they would build the entire center of excellence inside. And there is something about the consultancy that you come in and people are sharing some of the bottlenecks quite openly, because they trust that you can help them to change that. That's why it actually works even better in this environment. So when somebody externally comes and gives you the hope that AI would actually bring those changes to you and gains as well.
How do they go from buying licenses for their engineers to actually those kinds of metrics you just described?
If we keep seeing the same problem again and again, the adoption is stalled. There is no clear path forward. Therefore, we came up with our structured adoption, which we call APEX. It stands for Assess, Pilot, Expand, and Excel. So we first assess the baseline, where the company is, what are the short, quick wins, and we try to quantify that. Then we transition into the piloting stage, where we take the most impactful 3 to 4 workflows and we embed them and pilot them and show that they actually work with production grade code. Afterwards, we expand, and not just for the initial teammates, but we train additional AI champions and scale this beyond other teams. And finally, we reached the Excel stage, where the teams are basically integrating the advanced AI workflows into their delivery pipeline across SDLC with agents and other elements. So these 4 stages, quantifying them and understanding that not all the team needs to pass through all of them, but at least doing this, for 3 to 5 weeks, you already understand where are your biggest wins and how to scale it even further. So that allows us in like total of AI acceleration program from 8 to 10 weeks to prove that AI can boost the productivity. And this is the tool for VP of engineering to come to the board and show the results.
And I want to highlight like 3 specific things we talked about. One is enabling your team. I feel like that was a great point. Identifying your top AI power users. 3 is a good number, so start with 3, and formally designate them as your champions. To make sure you empower them to share their workflows and formally, I would say, enable them to educate your teams together with you. The second one is benchmarking your org. That's an enabler for you to keep getting support from the board and keep seeing your results. One of the ways to do that is to download our engineering AI maturity checklist. It's kind of self-service diagnostic, designed for CTOs and VPs and thought leaders, technology leaders, to see exactly where they're losing value. The link is in the description. And then the third one is going systematic. AI doesn't scale through tools. Invest in educating your leaders, your teams, your customers. And if you'd like to assess where you stand, I know we have an Apex diagnostic session that's run by Yaroslav. It's a great place to start, and it's an easy way to get a helicopter view of where you stand. We'll be looking at your engineering org, your bottlenecks, and showing you exactly what an expansion plan looks like from where you are. The link is in the description as well. And before we wrap, I feel like a word of wisdom would make sense. So, Yaroslav, what's the one thing you see engineering leaders, technology leaders get wrong when trying to scale AI independently?
Treat AI like any major change. It's a management challenge after all, not just a matter of tooling. If we fail to keep humans in the loop, foster team collaboration, and actively drive adoption, our expensive AI will simply generate technical debt, only much faster.
That sounds like a mic drop. So the rest is up to you folks. Links are in the description, so feel free to check those out, and thanks for watching.